Hello everybody and welcome to another tutorial in camera and lens repair, and this time I will take an Leica Summilux and show how you can actually change the grease and have a more smooth focusing ring in this old lens. I have been into it before. Of course, I cleaned the lens element, but this time I will re-grease the lens focus system. I also made some notes which can be is very handy when working with lens like this one without any repair manual. So how can you figure out what's correct or not? And yeah, let's jump into it. We need a very few tools. At least some tweezers can be very handy. A 2.5mm screwdriver in this case, flathead. A pointy tool to make scratch. Haha. Yeah, we need those scratch. It's our only backup. A lens tool, a compass in this case. Or, like I did, I made my own tool out of a tube and file and grind it so there are two pins, tiny pins, that we need when disassemble it. And of course we also need a caliper to measure how things are going. And we need some grease, of course. And I will stick with the LM47 MoS2 from Liqui-Moly, which I am actually very happy with. No, I am not sponsored by any company. So let's get that clear. Now, the lens is performing actually very good, but the focusing ring is a bit stiff in my opinion. And when I took a look inside, I could see, well, the grease was actually dried out, and you can probably see here on the back, not really dried out, but well, there was some what you say, it missed the grease, lubrication. Yeah, let's go into it. We need to take off the whole lens assembly and separate it from the focusing assembly. So set it at 1.4 and have a good grip down here. Or we can also have a good grip on the whole focusing assembly, and then unscrew it. So it can be sticky, I know, but it's in my case, where I've been into it, it's not that anymore. Of course, when you put it back in again, you will have to tighten it good, at least so the two marks here, this mark here, the index mark for the aperture, and of course the index mark for the focus, have to be in line. There might be missing a spacer in here. I don't know, it could be that in your lens there was a very thin spacer to kind of adjust the lens assembly into the focusing, because there's actually no way you can adjust the focusing as I see it. So when taking it apart, you will see how it actually is put together. Now, important, set it to infinity. That's our reference mark. And in here, I actually make a scratch. You probably can see it. There's one here, in here, And as I see it, I thought this set screw and also this set screw, well, in that way I would be able to just unscrew the whole outer focusing ring, but it doesn't seem to be that. So I don't know how it's put together in that way, but it doesn't really matter. We just set a mark here on both the inner brass, as you can see, and on the outer ring. And also, when it's set to infinity, you can also set a mark down here in the very bottom here. And of course you can also make a very light scratch, not very much, so we have that clear. And of course it's also a good thing if we go on the back helicoid, which is the only one there is, and set a tiny mark here. Remember, it has to be in line, and you have a mark down here, just a tiny one. It doesn't have to be a deep scratch, just a small one. And as I see it, if we look here, you see the guide pin here, which is the only one that actually prevent the inner, it will say the helicoid, the inner helicoid from moving around. So this one is this pin here. Oh, sorry. This pin here is actually, if you can see, the whole bar down there is put together, screwed in by those two screws. Now, before taking it apart, we set it to infinity again and make a scratch in here, there, on one side and the other side of this guide pin. That way you have a reference of where should this be, because then you can see the two reference marks down here, hopefully. And then you have an idea of, okay, is everything put together correct? There is not many issues in that way. But if we take a look at my notes, at infinity, from front of the focusing ring, it will say from the very front here, till the top of the helicoid key, it will be here. It will say in here, right? So infinity, and we can then measure. It depends on how accurate you measure it, but if we look around here, it has to be like this. So, oh gosh, well, it should be something like 8.75 millimeter from the very front here to the top of the helicoid key. Make that clear, and then we can actually take that key out. So by setting the focusing ring at something like 10 feet or 3 meters, we will have full access to the whole key, so we can take it out. Now, not that much special, and when I have a good grip on the screwdriver, we can just take those two screws out. So there. And then we can actually tweezer, we can actually take the whole helicoid key out. Nothing special. Well, at least it is. So you see, it's something like that. So there. And then we can, just so we have things clear, put the inner helicoid back to the actual 2 marks here. Oh, and we will also put this to infinity. Now we are back to the 2 lines here. I mean my reference mark, which is the index mark, and the mark I set. So everything is lined up. Now to get it, taking it apart, I thought, well, how is it put together? Well, you could just turn the focusing ring, but it's not the right way, because I need to take off the inner helicoid. And you see, there is a retaining ring down here. It has 2 notch here and a notch here. So by unscrewing that, we can separate the actually focusing ring and the inner brass tube here, whatever it's called, barrel, from the actual inner helicoid. So let's do that. I mean, we can take off the outer helicoid by turn it, and that's why the notes are really important. I need to turn the actual index ring here 1 turn till off at, I mean a bit over 1 turn till off at 3 meter or 10 feet. So if I go to 3 meter here or 10 feet and turn it 1 turn, then it will came off. And before doing that, I mean when I have turned it, have a good grip here. If you only go, and it will come off here. Boof. And when it comes off, you set a mark here. I already did that, because that's part of the investigation in this lens. Set a mark here, a tiny one, not on the focusing ring itself, but on this brass here. Then you have an idea of, okay, my index mark is my reference, and when I turn it a bit over 1 turn, and it comes to 10 feet or 3 meter, it will come off. And that's what it is. Yeah, but that's part of it. And that's nothing else. It's only one piece, this one. Amazing. Now, to get the actual inner ring here with the helicoid key, well, we need a lens tool or a compass and unscrew it. But I think it was more safe to use this one. So I made it, and it can fit. It's 39 millimeter in inner diameter. And the pins are above, I mean, 180 degrees from each other. So there is nothing, it's nothing special. At least the tube inner here, the inside of the tube here is 39 millimeter. Because then I can put it over here, and you can probably see in here, and then unscrew it. It sits quite tight, so it's better to have a good grip than using the lens tool. I mean, in my case, I think it's better to have a, because it cannot move anywhere. So just unscrew it. There is nothing else to do, and that way we can flip it over. The ring comes out. Nothing special about that. And next, the inner barrel here needs to come out, and it sits quite tight, so we can wiggle it a little, and then it comes out. So that's it. I mean, there's nothing else. So I will put the parts in my ultrasonic cleaner, and I think I will use some isopropyl alcohol, and some just for a try, and some dish detergent solvent. So see you soon. Okay, now I have cleaned the parts here, and it looks nice and fine, even if it's the lens is quite old. And now I will simply use some Liqui-Moly LM47, the MoS2, and yeah, see how it will go. So let's see. It will be interesting to see how good this grease. I really like it. It is really good for many in many lenses, and we do not have to apply a lot of grease. Doesn't is that not that? But well, that's too little. But we'll see. I mean, as long as I add it and then spread it by turning the focusing ring sometimes, it will in that way be spread. But of course there has to be some, it doesn't have to be, I mean, a bunch of, it has to be the film that makes the, not the amount of grease. It's easy to apply a lot, but it will not necessarily be better for that. So I think I will try with this and add it to the outer helicoid mount. And as my note said, I need to put it on at 10 feet 3 meter with the index mark here. So I will do that. And where is it? Here. And since I already set a mark here in the very beginning, I guess it will turn out. So wiggle a little with the focusing helicoids just to make sure it's click. Wow. I think it will be good. It's actually have a very good feeling. To me, it's soft and buttery. I think it will be all fine. So I can just take away the rest of what should be on the end of the inner helicoid. That doesn't have to be a lot. So that's it. And of course I need to put the inner ring. For now it's okay. So I will just add some grease on the inner surface here, and of course also the outer surface here, all the way around. When I put this retaining ring on over here, of course there has to be something at least between the retaining ring and the inner surface in here. But for now I think it the grease sounds, has a good feeling that way. Not too sticky, not too loose. So let's see. And of course again I will do some movement when I add it in the inner the inner barrel here. So see how it will be. I have no idea what kind of grease they use in the factories, but I think this grease is actually the best I can come up with. So I have tried many different greases, but this is so far the very best for actually many lenses, and if you want to loop some surface that need some good grease, I think it will be okay for now. You can always dry away what should be too much. So let's put it in here and give it some. Be very careful not just pressing it in. It has to go in with itself. So I think it'll be fine. Yeah, I think it will be very good. Then take it out again. Just need to wipe away. It should be too much in here. And then I can put the retaining ring on and give it some good movement here. So there will also come grease on that part. So I think it will be fine to just put it in. And we have the mark here, the index, everything is lined up. And then I can just add this ring in here. So I think it works as intended. So and then add the use my tool here, or what you have. We can also try that. I just feel safer with using the tube, but of course you can also use a lens spinner. Just be careful of the thread, because it's brass, and if you fail once, it's really difficult to actually get it back to normal shape. Just like aluminium, it'd be really hard to do that. Yeah, it feels good. I can just better handle this. So that's fine. Wow, not really much resistance. But of course it's there is more tight fit on the inner ring into the barrel here, so it might be more tight than the actual helicoid, but for now I think it's fine. And then we can add this on. Make sure we have the 10 feet 3 meter. In this case, could be different in your lens. So it clicks and then turn it. Wow, it has a really good feeling. Yeah, I think it's fine. So, and then I will set it to 310. I mean 10 feet 3 meter. Then add the helicoid key, and then I will turn this out a bit so it's in between the two screw holes. But of course the helicoid key also needs some lube in the actual gap down there. I mean this notch here, if you can see here, you'll also need a loop on this where this slides up and down, and it doesn't have to be much. So that for now. Then I can add the key. In here. So, and then it sits where it should. Then one can align the holes in here, as you can see here. Also the other one has to be aligned, and in that way it's a magnetic screwdriver. I mean, I have made it magnetic, but and it will make things so much easier. Then put in the screw, not tighten it yet, and then we will add the other one. So there, and then screw it in there. Tighten it good, not too much. So, how does it feel? Wow! Now, that's really good. Even if I use my thumb and little fingers, doesn't really need that much power to I mean, that's really good, and it reminds me of something. When I took off the back cap here for the lens. There was actually some plastic parts, plastic, where you see when you put the lens on, the lens cap here back, there were actually some fragments in here that comes out because it is a bit soft. And when those plastic parts come into the helicoid, you might have a problem. So make sure your end cap here is in good shape and not have too many loose fragments in here, because it can go onto the helicoid here. We can just do a little of remove the whatsoever was on the back. And that's for now. So now I'm actually back to work. This lens is back to work, which I think is really good. And then I can add my, oh, hold on a second. There was a measurement that I would like to just at infinity from the front of focusing ring, we'll say here, till the back of the bayonet flange, it's called, I think, is 25.88 millimeter. It will say to the very back here, not here, but here. So let's see how long it is, just to make sure it is so. Well, and it is as it should be, so everything is lined up and is back to normal. So I can put in the lens element and click, go a little backward, and then screw the lens into place. So, and now we are back on track. Feels really good. I think it's, yeah, I'm happy with this result. So we can just do so. And that's all for me. In this video, there will be more videos in the new year, which is not that far away. So, yeah, hope you enjoyed the content. See you soon. Bye bye.